crafters. So today I have a very simple crochet project I wanted to share with you guys, and I'm going to be using my yarn that I tie-dyed. This is some of Hobby Lobby's I Love This Cotton, and if you want to check out the tie-dye video, I'll link it up there. And as far as hook size goes, I'm using this size eye hook that is 5.5 millimeters. So the way to make these coasters is very simple. We're going to work 7 rounds creating a flat circle, and then we will put a crab stitch border on here. So I want to make a set of 4 coasters, so I've got 1 more to go, so I'm going to make that in this video and show you the process. So I'm going to start by creating a slip knot and putting it onto my hook. And you can start this with a magic ring. I'm personally just not a fan of it, so I'm going to start by chaining 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to go to the very first stitch, that very first chain. I'm going to insert underneath there, move my tail off to the right, yarn over, and slip stitch to form a ring. So now for round 1, I'm going to chain 1 and work 6 single crochet into my ring. So I'm going to go up through the center here. And I like to wrap the tail around so that way I can work around it, but I'm going to work my first single crochet. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, second single crochet into the circle, the little ring there, that's 2. This is my 3rd single crochet, 4th single crochet, 5th single crochet, and 6th single crochet. And again, I'm just catching that yarn tail. I'm going to count back to find my first stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to insert underneath the top of that stitch, yarn over, and pull through everything to slip stitch. Now I'm going to take my tail and cinch the center down a little bit. But then another thing I'm going to do is when I do my joins, I'm going to pull this loop really tightly to make that loop right there tighten up. So see how I'm pulling on this loop and that spot right there tightened up? And then I'll pull this back down to the size of my hook. And now we're ready for round 2. So for round 2, I'm going to start by chaining 1. And in my first stitch, I'm going to work 2 single crochet. So this is my first single crochet in my first stitch, and my second single crochet in the first stitch. And in all the stitches around, I'm going to work 2 single crochet. So 2 in my second stitch, so this is 1, this is 2, work 2 in my third stitch. I'm going to work this all the way around and I'll end up with 12 single crochet. So I just worked my 12th single crochet, so I'm going to find my first single crochet of the round, insert underneath the top there, yarn over, and pull that yarn over through everything to slip stitch. And again, when I do these joins, I'm going to pull really tightly on this loop to cinch that spot where we joined down, and it's going to blend it in really nicely. So once I cinch that down, I need to size my loop back down, and now I'm ready for round 3. So for round 3, we again start by chaining 1. And the pattern that repeats around is we're going to do 2 double crochet in a stitch and then 1 double crochet in a stitch. So in this first stitch here, the same spot where we joined, I'm going to work my first single crochet and my second single crochet, so 2 single crochet in the same stitch. Then in the following stitch, I'm going to work just 1 single crochet. Then I'm going to work 2 single crochet in the next stitch, so 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in the following stitch. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around. I'll end up with 18 single crochet stitches, and then we'll join the round as I did with round 1 and 2. So I worked my 18th single crochet of round 3. I'm going to find the very first stitch of the round, insert through the top of it, and slip stitch, and then again pull that really tightly to cinch that spot down. And now we're ready for round 4. So round 4 again starts by chaining 1. This time we're going to have 2 single crochet between every single crochet increase, but what I like to do is I like to stagger where I place the increases, because if I have all my increases lined up, I tend to get corners on my circle and create a hexagon versus a nice round circle. So by staggering where I do the increases, it prevents corners from forming. So for this round, in each of the first 2 stitches, we're going to work 1 single crochet. So in the same spot where I joined the round, that's where I'm going to work my first single crochet. And then the next stitch, my second single crochet. And then in the third stitch, I'm going to work 2 single crochet in the same spot. So that's the single crochet increase. So 1 and 2 in that same stitch. And then repeat that around. Work a single crochet in the next stitch, work a single crochet in the next stitch, and then work 2 single crochet in the following stitch. So this is 1 in this stitch, and this is 2 in this stitch. I'm going to repeat that all the way around, and for round 4 I'll end up with 24 single crochet altogether. And I'm going to join the same way I showed for rounds 1 through 3, I'm just not going to include it on camera this time. For round 5 we again start by chaining 1, and for round 5 we're going to have 3 single crochet between every increase, but again I'm staggering where the increases go. So the repeating pattern this time is I'm going to work a single crochet, so just 1 in the spot where I joined. Then in the next stitch, a single crochet increase. So this is my first one in this stitch, and this is my second single crochet in that same stitch. And then 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So 1 in that stitch, and 1 in the following stitch. And now our pattern repeats. Work 1 single crochet in the following stitch, then work a single crochet increase in the next stitch. So that's 1, and then here's my second one in the same stitch. And then in each of the next 2 stitches, I'm going to work 1 single crochet. So this is my first one, and then this is my second one, each in their own spot. And repeat, single crochet, increase, 2 single crochet, and work that all the way around. At the end of round 5, you should have 30 single crochet stitches. And again, I'm going to use the same method to join the round, but I'm going to do so off camera. Now for round 6, we start by chaining 1. And this time we're going to have 4 single crochet between every single crochet increase, and we're going to start the pattern off by working those 4 single crochet. So in the spot where I join, I'm going to work a single crochet. Then in the second stitch, I'm going to work just 1 single crochet. In the third stitch, work 1 single crochet. And in the fourth stitch, work 1 single crochet. Now that I've worked those 4, in the following stitch, I will work a single crochet increase. So that's 1 in the stitch, and this is 2 in the stitch. And then I'm going to repeat this all the way around. So work 4 single crochet. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is single crochet number 4. And then in the following stitch, work that single crochet increase. So that's 1, and that's 2. I'm going to repeat this all the way around. I'll end up with 36 stitches, and I will join the same way I've joined all the previous rounds. So now it's time for round 7, and this is the last round of increases, and then we just have to put the crab stitch border on. So again, we start by chaining 1. And for this round, we're going to have 5 single crochet stitches between every increase, but again, we're staggering it. So the way it's going to work this time is in each of the first 2 stitches, I'm going to work 1 single crochet. So my first single crochet is in the stitch where I joined the previous round, and then my second single crochet in the second stitch. Then in the third stitch, I'm going to work that single crochet increase. So that's where I work 2 single crochet in the same spot. And this is my second one here. And then I'm going to work 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. So this is 1, this is 2, and this is single crochet number 3, each in their own stitch. And then I'm going to repeat that around. So 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So that's 1, that's 2. In the following stitch, work the single crochet increase. So 2 single crochet right into the same stitch here. And then 3 single crochet in the next stitches. So 1 in each though. So this is 1 in its own stitch. This is number 2 in its own stitch. And this is number 3 in its own stitch. And then I will repeat all the way around. And after round 7, I will have a total of 42 stitches. I will join the round the same way as I joined all the previous rounds, and then it's time to put on a border. So now that we've worked round 7, all that's left is to put the crab stitch border on here. So if you've never worked the crab stitch before, it might sound daunting, but it's very similar to the single crochet stitch. We're going to start off by chaining 1. And basically the crab stitch is a single crochet worked in the wrong direction. So normally we work counterclockwise, now we're going to work clockwise. So I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to insert from front to back under that stitch to the right. Then I'm going to catch the yarn with my hook and pull a loop back to the front, and then yarn over and pull through 2. That is the crab stitch. So let me show you again. Go to the next stitch to the right and go underneath it from front to back, then catch the yarn with my hook and pull it up to the front, then yarn over and pull through both those loops on my hook. So again, go to the right, insert from front to back, pull up a loop of yarn, yarn over, pull through 2. It's going to start creating this border on here. And we're going to do a total of 42 crab stitches. So this is crab stitch, I think 4, it might be number 5. But I'm just inserting in the next stitch to the right, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Next stitch, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So let me work this around and then I'll show you how we finish this off. So I have just 2 more spots here that I need to work the crab stitch. So right here, work the crab stitch. And in the very first stitch of the round, work the crab stitch. So now we need a slip stitch to join this round and fasten off. But if I slip stitch somewhere over here on the front, that's gonna look pretty sloppy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch on the underside. So I'm gonna find this stitch right here underneath the very first crab stitch of the round, and I'm gonna come from the back of my project, come up the front, and then down out the back. And then I'm gonna pull up a loop of yarn, so it's coming from the front and then out to the back. And then I'm gonna pull that loop of yarn through the loop that was on my hook. And then to finish it all off, I'm gonna yarn over, pull up a loop, and I like to leave it plenty long so it's easy to weave in the end, and cut the tail off. Once I cut the tail off, I'll just pull out my starting bit of yarn, and I'll cinch it down, and that join will blend right in. So all that's left to do is weave these 2 tails in on the back, and then the coaster will be complete. And here is how my set of 4 coasters turned out. I think they're so cute, and I love the way that they worked up with the tie-dye yarn. So a few final notes on these coasters as I wrap up the video. So first of all, I want to mention that because we didn't do any increases when we did the crab stitch round, that edge tends to kind of curl up just a little bit and create a thicker, chunkier border. So that border is intentionally not going to lay quite as flat as the rest of the coaster. So again, you can kind of see here how that crab stitch border, because we didn't do any increases, it curls up just a little bit, and that creates the cute texture and character of these coasters. As another note, size-wise, my coasters ended up approximately 4 inches wide. Your mileage may vary depending on hook size and if you go with different yarn, of course. But if you go with a medium weight for cotton yarn and a 5.5mm hook, you should end up with coasters in the ballpark of 4 inches in diameter. And lastly, I did a little weight test to figure out how many yards of yarn I used. If you're not sure how to use weight to determine yards, I'll post a hack video where the 5th hack explains that process. It's very simple and super duper helpful. But anyways, each of these coasters took me approximately 0.3 ounces of yarn. So if you bought a Hobby Lobby I Love This Cotton pack of yarn that is 3 ounces, you'd be able to make 10 coasters from one of those skeins of yarn. But anyways, I'm excited to use these. I think they turned out super cute, and I hope you guys enjoy this project as well. Of course, if you enjoyed this project, let me know by leaving a thumbs up on the video and comment down below, and let me know if you're going to be trying this project. And I'd love to hear what color schemes you guys use, because you don't have to stick with one color. Of course, a variegated yarn automatically adds in those pops of color, but you could do a few rounds in one color, a few rounds in another color. You could do the border in a separate color. Lots of options there, so I'd love to hear if you guys plan to do this, what colors you plan to use. But thank you so much for watching, and happy crafting!